Ireland versus France. Probably seems to be another tight game, maybe because it's in Dublin. That will give Ireland the edge. And after their hiccup against Scotland in the first round, okay, it was Italy, but they were utterly ruthless, weren't they?
Yeah, but I don't think that prepares them well enough for this France game. I've been really underwhelmed by Ireland so far. Yes, they dispatched Italy, but it's Italy, despite the progress that they've made, beating South Africa again, who were just incredibly poor during that autumn series. They have been low on confidence. Players have not delivered when they've needed to. That being said, they have a good, experienced side that are capable of delivering on the day. But I just think France, France when they get it right, you go back to that England-France match, the first 20, 30, 40 minutes, France dictated the pace of that game, got over the gain line with the big carries, Piquemol having an absolutely blinding tournament as ever. And I think it's an exciting time for French rugby, and I do think France will sneak this match.
Do you? That's a very big call. Now, the Irish, I'm not saying that for 1 minute the Lions will be an all-Irish back row, but you could make an argument for it. CJ Stander, Jamie Heaslip and Sean O'Brien, outstanding back row. And the French have got Piquemols, but I guess, as is always the case, the battle of the breakdown is going to be massive.
Yeah, and Sean O'Brien is, he's got two great qualities: big, strong ball carrier, powerful and strong when he carries, and he's also incredibly abrasive over the ball in defence. CJ Stander's been, a great find for Irish rugby. Losing, Ferris to injury a couple of years ago, he's come in and really developed. And Heaslip, he's been there a long time now. He on his day is a world-class player. But the quality of the back row in that French side as well, led by Piquemol, both those sides pride themselves on their ability to carry the ball hard, but also damage the opposition in turnovers. So it'll be an interesting battle. In terms of your point about the Lions, I certainly don't see it being an all-Irish back row, but again for Gatland, more players playing consistently well creates a great problem for him when it comes to selection.
If you're right and the French were to win against Ireland in Dublin, I mean, they would be back, wouldn't they? That would be some statement. If they lose, but they lose in the way that they lost to England, that's not the end of the world, is it? I mean, it's a must-win for Ireland, isn't it? Especially coming into this championships as probably joint favourites with England.
I would say absolutely. If the Irish lose this, it will be, it will be curtains to their dreams of a title of any sort. So they've just been, they've been not at the races this Six Nations. This game will determine how far they go from here. I think if France get it right, they will sneak it. It will be tight. It'll be 3 to 5 points probably. But I think the French are building nicely because they came in as underdogs. No one really expected much. They weren't sure what to expect from France. They seem to have regrouped nicely over the last year under Guy Novès. So I do think it will be tight, but I think France will sneak it.
Wow. Now, if that's the case, it's going to be another great game. There's already been so many great games in this Six Nations. We're not even halfway through, but already is this shaping up to be one of the better Six Nations?
Well, certainly the last week. Sometimes it normally depends on the last weekend, doesn't it? How the last weekend goes, and is there an all-deciding game that we can watch and get really excited about?
Which could be Ireland v England.
Which would be fantastic, and one of the reasons you want Ireland to beat France. But I don't see it happening at the minute. But in terms of matches, for the neutral, that England-Wales game, I think must have been an exciting game to watch because for all intents and purposes, Wales has done a job, snuffed out the attack. And
ditto England-France.
Well, absolutely. France looked dominant for the majority of that game, and then England clawed it back. Italy have stuttered and sort of fallen. They're the only side that haven't really offered. Scotland have continued to impress.
Scotland-Ireland was a great game.
Yeah, absolutely.
France-Scotland was a good game.
Yeah, so it has been a great tournament so far. But I think generally tournaments are decided on that last weekend and whether there's enough teams playing for silverware.
Well, Lewis, I have to say that you're going for a French win. The BetSafe odds are Ireland are 3-1 on, A draw is 22-1 and France is 5-2. I guess that's a reflection of home advantage. But 5-2 for France, the away team, reflects what you say, which is the French are going to give them some game.
I do hope so, and I'm excited about this match. Actually, one that could be could turn the cards for the French, I think, and their fortunes this season.